All right, everyone, welcome back to part 3. So let's round this thing out. Now, we were working on the Money Pickle app. We worked our way through the first 2 sections. Quick recap. We created a setup or pre-auth intent instance so that we could send our user to it. We sent our user to it. We did all sorts of, asking for the intent, updating the record, figuring out if it worked, all the kind of integration that makes it make sense in the Adalo app. So those were parts 1 and 2. We talked in part 2 about how to find the record ID so that we know what record to update instead of asking for all of them and filtering, which I'll say it again is just horrendous. So never do that. Never do that. And you can find the record button ID component on our site. I didn't mention that in the last video. We'll put it in the comments. So now we have the pre-authorization. We have everything we need. The client has gone through their call. We know that the client spent 20 minutes on the call, let's say, and now we need to bill them for that. So how do we go back and do it? Okay, so basically we just fire a custom action when the call is done. Let's see if we can find that screen real quick. Yeah, here it is. We're using the Garlic IO video call component. Shout out to them. It is pretty good, actually. Does its job very well. So that is nice. And then we have hang up actions. So the one thing is that it's a little challenging to do actions based on who hangs up. No, you know what? I'm saying that out loud. That's silly. I can solve my way around it. So all in all, great component. And one of the things we do is we we use IntegraMake. So when we end the call, we basically use make to process the payment. So that's how it's triggered. Let's see, what do we send over? Start time, end time, so we know the amount. Although date times from Adalo are sent in this really weird format. It's like Unix epoch format, but it's based on days, not seconds. So you have to convert it. It's really irritating. So sometimes it's easier to just do the math here. So we send the user email, the name, the setup intent ID, watch video 1 to learn about that. We send the customer ID, again in video 1. We send the Adalo call record ID because we want to update the call. So I just mentioned it, but that's in video 2. We calculate the call cost here. And I wonder if this is going to work because we do cost before duration. So I may have to check that that's not broken. I made a modification here recently to fix it. So let's see. But that's the information we're sending. So what happens on this side is we have the webhook where we receive it. Now, is call duration more than 10 minutes? Because if it's not, it's free. So we just kind of end it there. If we, pass through this filter, then we are going to make a Stripe API call. We are making a call to the v1 setup intent / the ID of the setup intent that we are trying to retrieve. We get it, and that looks like about it. And so that's going to return information, and we're going to create a payment intent rather than just setting it up, which we've done in the past. So we do our math for call cost, we specify our currency, recipient email. For payment types, we got to leave this empty, cool. Customer ID, which you've seen in video 1 again, and it's actually returned from the previous step anyways. So arguably, we don't need this in Adalo at all. And if we don't, we may as well go and remove it after. Choose an existing payment method. Payment method ID, right? So again, from the payment intent, we have all this information. We don't need to remap it, and that's that. So now we need to confirm the payment intent, and we can do that because we have all the information about the client and the intent. And so we give the payment intent ID, we give the piece of information we got from number 10, and yeah, so we go and I think that's it pretty much. Oh yeah, right, because once you confirm is like a way to say, we're taking it. So here we go. We have confirm and capture. I have to admit at this point that actually I'll update in the comments the nuanced difference between confirm and capture because I actually forget what they are. But here are the 2 steps that Phil had to do. So without being able to explain them thoroughly, but I'm pretty sure if I paused, looked at the documentation and came back, it would be pretty easy to explain. So again, confirm, we use the payment intent ID, we use the payment method, and then to capture it, we use the payment intent ID and the amount. And then we respond. So that is it. It is pretty simple once it's been figured out. I mean, there's a lot of complexity, and frankly, the first video might have jumped around a bit. So, but thank you for bearing with us. This is, in the end, how you can use Adalo and make.com to create I don't even want to call it PCI compliant because it's not relevant in the sense, like PCI compliance irrelevant, or something that's entirely in Stripe's system that you do not need to take the responsibility for. And therefore we don't need to worry about Adalo's, any of the behavior or the security or compliance on that side. Now, another thing you'll notice is, again, just to be sure, like we've never sent credit card information from Adalo to make.com. All of that happens between Make and Stripe. We've never put anything like that that's private directly into Adalo, and that's the goal. It's all going through our web view through Stripe's checkout, and so that's it. It's all beautifully, we're using the things that are already made. We're not rebuilding anything ourselves. So again, I hope this was useful. If it was, like and subscribe. We'll be coming out with more videos, and we'll certainly be putting out videos about our up-and-coming low-code, codenamed Fuchsia at this point, designed to be the low-code builder that will take you from the junior level all the way up to developer level, and hopefully through progressive abilities and kind of pulling away the guardrails as you grow, make it a platform that really everyone loves. It's going to be open source. It is free to use. We will be offering hosting. It should be a really awesome experience, and we're looking forward to launching the earliest of versions, where it's still going to be horrible, but it's going to get better very quickly. So keep tuned for that, and I guess if you're interested, subscribe and you'll hear more about that project as well. Oh, thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Mitch, and I'll see you soon.